friends who vlog a lot, how do you keep things looking interesting? This is my second week in a row of vlogging, and I have like 3 things to film for B-roll, and like 3 places in my house that I ever sit and can like talk to you guys. I feel like this is gonna get really repetitive. Rosie here. Welcome back to my channel. Sensing a bit of a theme again. I meant to start this earlier, but I guess like early in the week is just busy for me because it's 8 o'clock and I've been going all day. However, that kind of fits the theme for this week. It's very nebulous, it's very vague, but I'm trying this week to focus on being intentional with my time and sort of, but not really reading as much as possible. I, like many people in this world, am prone to that thing where you pick up your phone and you scroll for like 30 seconds and then you look up and it's an hour later and you go, how did I just scroll through Twitter for an hour straight without noticing it? I don't love that. I always feel like that time could be spent doing something that I actively enjoy as opposed to just something that like is designed to make my brain want to keep doing it. So this week I'm trying to be intentional. I'm trying to sit down, do what I'm doing, and then enjoy myself. The week of not scrolling through my phone doesn't sound as catchy as a week of being intentional. I have very intentionally today, you know, had work, went to the dentist, then I had to edit last week's reading vlog, which took a very long time. But I've been pretty happy with it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. That's uploading now. I've done the dishes. Everything's all ready. Even though it's late in the day to be starting this vlog, it's only 8 p.m. and all I have left to do today is read my books. Today, I'm going to start a new book. It is called Saint Death's Daughter. It is by C.S.E. Cooney. I have an e-arc of this and I would like to get it read. But I'm kind of dreading it, and I shouldn't. The premise sounds amazing. It's about like a teenage girl who, her family are assassins, something like that. Not totally sure, but she has some sort of like bringing people back to life power. I'm not totally sure. The blurb sounded really cool, so I requested the arc. Then I realized it was YA, and now I know that this is irrational, but I just have no interest in reading it. It's very possible that this is going to be delightful. I think there's every chance that this is going to be a really good book. I love anything with like, sounds like there's kind of like personified death. I don't really know. It sounds cool. Assassins, love it. But for whatever reason, I just feel like I'm not going to vibe with YA. So what I'm doing is starting this with the explicit thought in mind that if I'm not enjoying it, I'm going to DNF it. I was watching Scott of Gunpowder Fiction and Plot's February wrap-up the other day. I will link that down below. And he was talking about how he has DNF'd like 10 books already this year. It's one of his goals is to DNF 1 in 6 books that he reads. And if he's not enjoying something, basically stop reading it. And I thought, you know what, why can't I approach this that way? If I'm not liking it, I don't have to keep reading it. So I'm going to start. I'm going to try and read, I think, at least 10%. See how I'm feeling after that much. And either I'll continue it and hopefully enjoy the book, or I'll DNF it, but I won't have it looming over me and going, you should be reading that. So let's do it. All right, I'm 10% into Saint Death's Daughter, and I'm not wildly excited, but also I don't dislike it. So I'm going to keep trying for now, and I'll maybe DNF it later if I stop having fun with it. It is really long, which is sort of putting me off. I know I'm trying to read more long books this year, so I should really give this a go and like try and get more into it, but I just end up feeling intimidated about how much I have to read. We'll see. The concept is really cool. It's a fantasy book, and our main character is a necromancer, which makes her like allergic to violence and allergic to death. She has literally a physical reaction to being in contact with death or talking about it and stuff. It's kind of complicated because her family are like all assassins and executioners and stuff like that. Not totally sure how I feel about it. Like I said, not in love, but also not hating it. I'll keep seeing how I get on with it. I know my evening is going to be a bit busy today, and I've actually already done a lot of reading, even though it's only lunchtime, which is so exciting for a work day. This never happens, so I thought I would update you now. I meant to get up this morning and like start doing things right away. That didn't happen. It was just way too cozy in the bed and I didn't want to get up. So instead I read a bunch. I read another like 4 or 5 chapters of St. Death's Daughter and it's growing on me. I'm not in love. I'm not like immediately hooked by this book, but I'm really enjoying it. It's fun. I am looking forward to seeing where the story goes. The characters are interesting. The magic system is really, really cool. I really enjoy that side of it. So yeah, gonna give that a go and keep reading that. Then at lunchtime, I went out for a walk, as I often do, because being essentially a plant with emotions, I need sunlight, and lunchtime is pretty much the only time of year to get it in the winter right now. And that was delightful, and I've listened to another chapter of The Women's History of the Modern World. I think I got that title right. I've only got a couple chapters left in this. I've been sort of steadily working my way through it since last week, and I think I figured out part of my problem with it. This isn't a bad book. The content was interesting, but it felt so long. And then I realized that even though I usually like to listen to my audiobooks at 1.2 speed, just like that extra little bit of speed, this is actually even better at 1.5 speed. I think the narration is just kind of slow, and when I brought it up just that little bit in terms of how fast I was listening to it, all of a sudden it was like, okay, yes, this makes sense now. This is better. I don't know how I feel about the content and how it's written. As I mentioned in my last vlog, it's very much a broad overview touching on the work of many different women briefly sort of thing. And that's cool, that's interesting. I think it's really great to get an introduction to all of these people who you might then want to go look up more afterwards or go read books about specific parts of what's being discussed. I do feel like it's missing some stuff. For example, I just listened to a chapter sort of basically on second wave feminism and equal pay acts and equal employment acts and that sort of stuff. Great. Fascinating, super interesting. But it talked a lot about big names in the white middle class feminism of the US and Britain. And then it talked about women in India and China, and it mentioned very briefly that people have criticized second wave feminism in North America and in the West for being a white middle class women's game, about not opening up the field to everyone, but getting their part of the prize sort of thing. We want female CEOs as opposed to should anyone be making that much money type discussion. And I feel like if you're just going to mention that in passing and not even mention, for example, the work of Audre Lorde, who was writing at the same time as the other women mentioned in this chapter, like, it feels like a pretty big gap. It feels like you can't just gloss over that critique in like one sentence without actually exploring it. I'm probably nitpicking. Overall, it is really, really interesting. And now that I've sped it up, I'm excited to keep listening to that. I have a confession to make. I think I'm afraid of big books, or off-put by them. Yesterday I was talking such big game at lunchtime about being like intentional, and I was starting off the day so strong. And then in the evening I had a bit of extra time, and did I get any reading done on my week of trying to read as much as possible and be as intentional with my time as possible? And no, I just wasn't in the mood. I did not want to pick up either of the books I am reading right now. And I'm not gonna lie, I still kind of feel that way today. I haven't actually tried to read anything yet today. I've been doing other stuff, but I just don't feel like reading those books. I think it might be partly because I have 2 books on the go and they're both long. Usually I switch between a lot of books, but they're sort of max 350 or 400 pages. Whereas right now I have 2 books on the go that are like 500 to 600 pages. I don't know why. I don't want to read either of these books, even though when I'm actively reading them, I do. I think what I want to do is take a break to just read something fun tonight. I've grabbed Your Guide to Not Getting Murdered in a Quaint English Village by Maureen Johnson and Jay Cooper, which I picked up in my last weekly reading vlog. And this is just short and sweet and like I think going to be a one-sitting read, so that sounds like just the palette cleanser I need. Something that's not intimidating, doesn't feel like it's going to take forever or be super demanding, something that can compete with the quick, fun, easy, instant dopamine hit of a YouTube video. So I'm going to read this tonight. Then I think I'm going to not DNF either St. Death's Daughter or Katherine, but pick one and try and finish it. As I said, I think having 2 long books on the go is not making this easy. So maybe if I pick one and just like focus on reading that and then read the next one, it'll feel a bit more like I'm making progress. I don't know if this will work or not, but it's what I'm gonna try. I'm currently 20% of the way through St. Death's Daughter and 30% of the way through Katherine. I'm feeling more excited about Katherine. I don't know if that means I should read it first or second. I think I'll read it second. I'm always a save the best for last type person. I always eat my favorite part of a meal at the end. I never have dessert before dinner. I'm gonna keep trying to read St. Death's Daughter, and if I just really don't want to, I'll say, okay, maybe this is a sign I need to DNF it. I went into it thinking there's a chance I won't enjoy this and I'll DNF it, and if that is how I'm feeling, that is what I will do. But for now, light, fun palette cleanser book to get me reading, because I would rather read something that's not on my TBR than not read at all, because I don't want to read what's currently on my TBR or on my currently reads shelf. Okay, I have read Your Guide to Not Getting Murdered. It was a delight. If you like Agatha Christie or like British murder series, TV shows, that sort of stuff, you need to read this. It's adorable. It is hilarious. I legit laughed out loud and it was just so cute, so accurate. I feel like this one might get a spot on the coffee table. This is the sort of book that would be so cute to keep on your coffee table. And having finished that, I think I've decided I'm going to revise my strategy. I don't want to read St. Death's Daughter right now. I'm not going to DNF it yet, but I'm going to read Katherine. That's what I'm in the mood to read, so that is what I will read. I think what I'm going to do is keep St. Death's Daughter as currently reading, either until I decide that I definitely want to DNF it or the end of the month. I figure if I don't want to read it at all in the next 3.5 weeks, 2.5, 3.5, however many weeks are left in the month, if I don't want to read it at all in that time, okay, I don't want to read it, I will DNF it. I think I'm bad at DNFing books that aren't bad, but aren't what I'm in the mood for. When a book is just flat out bad, it's easy to DNF. It's easy to say, nope, don't need to read that. But this, I think it's probably a good book. I don't have anything bad to say. I don't feel the desire. I think so far this vlog has taught us that the more I try and be intentional with my time, the less intentional I am with my time. I had the best intentions to immediately after work start cooking enchiladas and listening to my audiobook, but after work came and all I want to do is curl up on the couch and watch D&D videos on YouTube. I don't want to make enchiladas. I don't want to listen to my audiobook. But I also know that if I get at least one of those done, I'm ahead. So I think, unfortunately, we're going to sacrifice the audiobook at the altar of making some food. I'll try and finish the audiobook tomorrow. I just really wanted to get it done, and I feel like the more I want to finish something, the less likely I am to finish it, because if I want to finish it, it's because I'm not super enjoying it. I don't know. We'll circle back to that when I'm done the audiobook. This lighting is terrible, but it makes me feel really kind of cool and like atmospheric, so we're rolling with it. Also, I just finished a live show and I only have a few moments before my pizza gets here, so I want to speak really quickly about the women's history of the modern world, which I finished today. Yay! Unfortunately, I didn't think it ended strongly, and that sort of colored my view of the whole book. I'll try and go into depth now, but I don't know if my thoughts are really organized yet or not. Essentially, this book is a set of chapters about women who were revolutionary in different periods and themes of history. So, for example, there's a chapter about the French Revolution and the women who were part of the revolution and what they were fighting for and how they were trying to get women's rights included in all of these universal declarations of rights of man and shit like that. And then there's another chapter on like women during the world wars, that sort of thing. Within each chapter, it sort of follows general themes by giving examples of specific women doing various things. And I think the concept is cool. I think the concept is good. I like the idea of introducing a reader to a whole spread of revolutionary women. That appeals to me. I think if you don't really know anything about rebel women or whatever throughout history and want to learn about women who were fighting against the norms of their time and against repression throughout history, and you want a book that's going to give you like 15 names to go look up biographies of, probably a great book to read. Personally, I didn't love it. I've tried to say this like 4 times and I can't figure out my words, but I don't think the structure is good for this type of book. It makes this a type of book that can never be great in my eyes. Maybe that's because I'm too picky. I want too much depth, too much nuance, too much deep, meaningful discussion about the themes that are brought up, not brief mention type things. So maybe it's just that this type of book fundamentally isn't for me, but there were so many things, especially in the later chapters, where I was just going, you're saying that so quickly and as if it is so black and white or so clear cut, but this is so nuanced and like you can't just say that and then not go into detail. For example, there's a whole chapter about women who've become very successful in politics, like who've become prime ministers and presidents and heads of state and how they've won control and all that sort of stuff. And it goes in a little bit to things like, you know, Thatcher's famous, I wouldn't consider myself a feminist, what have feminists ever done for me type pick-me girl bullshit. I didn't think it really went into depth on the distinction between a woman succeeding and success for women, in the sense that, yeah, okay, maybe the structure has changed enough that a few wealthy, well-connected, largely well-educated white women can achieve power, but what does this say about the overall structures, and have those actually changed? Have the overall access women have in society, have women's conditions actually improved because of this? Is this actually a reflection of change, or is this now we let one person in, but nothing's actually changed for everyone? I don't think I'm explaining this well. I just felt like there was a lot of things raised in this book that could have stood up to a much more nuanced discussion, but this type of book doesn't make that possible. It's so quick-paced, brief, just a glimpse at everything that there's no room to have that depth of exploration that I think is really necessary. And yes, because I always say this when this comes up, there was some corset bullshit about, you know, how could women ever actually move in these? And it's like, well, you realize that all women wore these and most women were working? Like, this is a range. This is what I mean. There's so much nuance. This is not a black and white topic that you can just fly by, but it was presented that way. I know I get picky about that in like every history book I read these days, but come on, I think we can do better. I feel like I'm really being mean to this book. I don't know why. It's not a bad book. It wasn't the book that I wanted to read, and I think my approach to history makes me kind of unsuited for this type of book. But that's a me thing. That's not necessarily a this book thing. Some slow progress on Katherine in the evenings when I go to bed, but I want to update you on that after I've next read some, so I'm like really in the mindset and having all of my ideas to share when I'm talking about them. And right now, for whatever reason, I'm just kind of, I don't know what I'm in the mood for. I'm getting into Critical Role, the like web series, I guess we could call it, where voice actors play Dungeons and Dragons. I've been in a real mood where I want to play Dungeons and Dragons right now, but social stuff like that I find kind of stressful sometimes. So watching it is kind of fun, but there's so much content. I'm just starting like the first episode of campaign 3 and there's a whole backstory. I'm choosing to start with campaign 3 because I think I'll get caught up fastest and that's my best bet. Like, go with what's happening now. But there's like 15 4-hour-long episodes and I'll put a flashy thing on screen telling you how many hours that is. I should be starting an audiobook. I am supposed to be reading Mort right now for a read-along that I am co-hosting. Details in the description and on the screen. And I just want to watch this show / listen to this podcast because you can do it in either format. Right now, I'm watching Critical Role, but I'm going to set up my office to film some videos, then I'll have to get ready to film some videos and then take all my stuff down again. So I figure by the time that I do that stuff, that's probably at least an hour that I can listen to today while sort of being productive. Plus I'll get the videos filmed in between, which is good because then I can start editing them and just sort of trying to say, okay, even if I'm not feeling intentional like I want to read right now, I should try and put that energy into something else. If I don't feel like reading, maybe I feel like making Booktube videos, or later I'm gonna bake a cake. Remembering that I can be intentional with things other than books, and that's okay. Just because my plan for this week was, oh my goodness, you're gonna read so much. I had this whole idea about like time tracking, which is gonna become a different video, I think. And I haven't done that. And I haven't been in the mood to read like crazy this week when I said I want to read like crazy. I can't control that. Last week I was, so I read a lot. This week, if I want to do other things, I should just make sure I'm enjoying the other things that I'm doing, not just feeling guilty about not reading. Okay, this has been a rant. I'm going to set up and film videos and stuff. Alright, I've got my office all set up to film. If you guys have seen some of my videos, you'll know that my lights do this all the time because they're haunted. I got it all set up. I feel like filming is one of those things that I'm always going to want to challenge myself to do more, to do better. For me personally, it's this constant balance between how much effort do I want to put into this, but how can I make my videos what I see them as in my mind. The first big step of that came pretty quickly, I found. I thought I was going to have to make like hundreds of videos before I felt reasonably confident with how they looked and stuff. But I didn't find it was that long. There was a really big learning step at first, and now I feel like I've hit a bit of a plateau actually after about 200 videos, which I have to check that. Is that right? That can't be right. I've made 193 videos. This is almost 200. Anyways, I feel like after doing so many, I'm reaching a point where I feel like I can do better, but I don't know how yet. I feel like there's a new stage of learning I can do, a new stage of the craft of making videos that I can grow into, but it's kind of daunting because I don't really know how to do it yet. It's a new challenge and it's exciting, but also sometimes it's frustrating because then I start feeling like, oh my god, I have to do all this work to film a video, which isn't true. I've been filming on my phone since mid-January and it's been fine. You guys' response has been great. There's been no issues. I don't feel like everyone's unhappy with my videos now because I understand that you're here for the content. But for me personally, I look at it and go like, oh, but it's not quite what I could do. It's not quite what I had in mind. And that sort of pushes me to work harder in a way that makes me happy. So I'm gonna lean into that. Now I should go get ready. I feel like this pajama top could look like a cute oversized flannel, except for the fact that I know that I'm wearing matching pants. Which, side note, I was thinking as I was setting up, if you wear a sweatshirt and joggers, like in a matching set, that's super, like, normal, not weird. But my pajama top is basically just a flannel. I wear flannels as casual tops. Why can't I wear flannel casual bottoms without it being pajamas? I just think there's a style trend potential here. I don't know. I think it's just my hair that's affecting me. I've spent years working to not have triangle hair, which is sort of, this isn't too extreme because of my cut, but like, see how it's like narrow at top and wide at the bottom? When I was in middle school, my hair literally went from the top of my head straight to my shoulders because I didn't know how to manage my curly hair. So now I've spent like 15 years of my life trying to stop my hair from doing this. And I don't know why. I think it's really soft right now. I'm just looking at it going like, wait, but why? Why do I have to not have triangle hair? Who decided that that was a problem? If that's how I think my hair looks cute, I'm gonna do it. So I don't know if I'll embrace it full time, but it's just kind of fun. I feel like it's on vibe, and why should I fight that? Okay, I promise I'm going to go film videos and then hopefully talk to you about books. I did not do much reading yesterday. I feel like I've said this like 500 times this vlog. The more intentional I try and be, the less intentional I am. I just got so hooked into Critical Role. I think I watched like 6 hours of it yesterday, which is wild to me because that's basically an entire to half of an average audiobook. And I just like watch that no problems. I'm going to keep doing that because if I'm finding it fun, then I should do it. And I have some thoughts about a video I might make to discuss that, so keep your eye out for that in like a month or two. This morning, I did start on Mort by Terry Pratchett. I apologize if you can hear the kettle behind me. I'm getting ready to make some tea and coffee. I need to focus on this. 1, because it's a Terry Pratchett book and I love them. And 2, because I'm co-hosting a readathon right now. I can't remember if I've properly explained this or not yet, but I probably have, and I've talked about it so much, so I'll just put the information down below. We will be doing a live show discussing Mort tomorrow when you're seeing this. The live show to finish this read-along will be on March 18th, but in May we will be back and reading Sorcery if you would like to dive in there. This whole read-along all year is organized so that you can join for any single one, you can join for all of them, you can join for half of them starting at the halfway point. They are all entry points into the Discworld series. They're all points where you can start reading with this book and have a great experience. I'm about half an hour into Mort now and it is delightful. Now that I'm listening to it, I'm like, yes, I love this is great. I don't know why I was feeling like I didn't want to yesterday, but I was. Done up the dishes while we were introduced to our character of Mort, and he has just left to start his apprenticeship with Death, and I am keen to keep listening, so I think I will go for a walk now. Alright, I'm back. It's many hours later. Did the walk, had a shower. Now it is time to make some lunch because on Sunday mornings, no matter what I try and do, I have exactly time to do last night's dishes, go for a nice walk, and have a nice shower, and that always brings me to lunchtime no matter when I get up or how long these things seem like they should take. However, today I put that time to good use, and the entire time I was doing my little Sunday morning routine, I listened to Mort. So I actually listened to like 40% of the book or something. It's not super long and I had a lot of time just doing stuff, so I've made really good progress. I'm enjoying it so much now that I'm listening to it. I've read Mort fairly recently. I last read it in 2019, I think, and I'd read it before that as well. So this is really, really fun to revisit a Discworld book so soon. I have to work so hard to not just become a loop of a person who continuously reads Discworld and nothing else. When the world is stressful or I'm feeling stressed about something, my brain just wants to be like, just do Discworld. Only Discworld, that is it. Which would be fun at first, but I think would lose its appeal if I did it all the time. So I try and put other books in there and I usually do enjoy them. I don't know. Right now my brain is just in that mindset where it wants to read Terry Pratchett because that is what feels soothing to me. Enough about that though. I am going to press pause because I don't want to finish the book on like the first day of the readathon. I want to, you know, be able to chat with people as we're reading a bit more. Pause on that. I kind of just want to watch Critical Role again, so I'm going to. I feel like all week I've been promising you guys that I will talk to you more about Katherine by Anya Seton, which I started in my last vlog, and I have been reading. It's pretty much the only ebook I've been reading all week. I just never have thought to vlog about it this time around, and now it's been like almost 24 hours since I read any because I'm reading it before bed and it's not like fresh and spicy in my brain. I'm gonna end on a teaser and say that in my next weekly vlog, which I will start tomorrow morning, I promise I will talk about Katherine because I do have a lot of thoughts. It's a really, really cool book. I just need to be in the right mind space to try and express some of them to you. In the meantime, let me know, how have you been feeling intentionality-wise in your lives lately? I feel like I'm not the only one struggling to maintain that, but I'd love to hear. And if you like this video, make sure you hit like down below. If you'd like to see more of my videos, make sure you hit subscribe, and thank you for watching.